lovely YouTube. I'm still looking at the Archetypes book, guidebook, and the cards that are inside it. This is the second day now of looking at this book, so I'm going to read a little bit more of the story of the author, because that's what they've put at the beginning of their book. They've put the ocean within the mountain. And this is his story. I'm saying it's a him, but it says Kim Krans. That could be a him. I think it is a him. So after his story of his dream that he had, he says, I was mesmerised and terrified. Little did I know I had entered the infinitely perplexing and generative world of archetypes, with the mountain as my guiding image. But was the image painting me to the literal or to the imaginal? Was it inside me or out in the world? Should I go to Mount Kailash and seek wisdom in the sacred caves where the yogis dwell? Take a rock climbing class? Buy hiking boots? I decided enrolling in grad school was courageous enough. The mountain would take care of itself, and I let the image go. As I continued my graduate studies, the disenchantment with my personal life increased. I was waking up to how much I had fallen asleep, as if half of myself were trying to summon the other half to life. Get up, Kim, it's time. Come on, girl, you can do it. Okay, so Kim's female. I couldn't though. I felt weak, ghost-like. And one day I had a vision of myself walking out the door without telling anyone. Where would you go? My therapist asked. I don't know, I said. I just see myself walking. I end up in the mountains. Which mountains? She asked. I don't know. This ghost-like vision lingered with me for a while. Change takes time. The mountain waits. It is patient beyond patient. Oddly enough, though, that winter I was approached to create a series of drawings for a line of pro snowboards. I didn't usually take freelance illustration jobs anymore, and I hadn't ridden a snowboard in about 15 years. But I made an exception. I had a feeling. As any diligent artist does, I began my field research, and that meant watching snowboard videos and documentaries and following feeds of renegade riders out there in the wild. And there stood the image of the mountain again, its savage expanse beauty, its stoic peaks, glimmering flutes and spines, gouging rivulets aimed simultaneously toward heaven and earth. I watched the tiny silhouettes of snowboarders gracing her epic crests, and eventually my chest broke open. I sat on the couch and cried for the mountain. I cried for adventure. The tears wouldn't stop. I had been studying and working, drawing and emailing so bloody hard for so many years that I'd abandoned the part of me that loved to be in the world, with red cheeks, chilly toes and crisp air in my lungs. About a week later, my life began to freefall in avalanche, in fact. I lost my 4th pregnancy. I left my marriage of 12 years. I shut down my company as I knew it. I closed our bustling new age storefront in Portland. Out of necessity, I quickly moved to the Oregon coast and set up my art studio. I made a drawing of myself in the mountains and hung it on my otherwise empty wall. It was the only art I had up for many months. My talisman, my map. I had fallen from one summit in search of another. The deeper mountain, the inner mountain, within it there is a cave that holds a fire that contains the ocean. If this doesn't quite make sense, it's because we've already entered the realm of archetypal story, where things are both up and down, where the mountain is both inside and out, where a falling is the beginning of a rising, where the poetics reign over the logistics. If you don't mind, just keep descending with me. I promise it will lead us to higher ground where we have a better view. The archetypes are already doing their work in their meandering, dreamlike way. Out on the coast, there was no snowy powder for me to ride, so I headed toward the mountain's sister image, the ocean. I went to her every day, rain or shine. I put my hand in the water and brought it to my lips with the prayer, "Show me the way." It was snow, after all, in liquid form. At some point, each drop had graced a mountain peak, so I trusted the practice. I thought of it as drinking the mountain, and being a diligent student, I didn't miss a day. Once spring arrived, I began to surf. The learning curve was steep. I was pummeled by her strength. I was turned over and over underneath the water until I gave up thinking I could compete with or control her. Somewhere along the way, I began to stand on her waves and eventually, occasionally, ride the momentum down the line. My muscles strengthened, my skin weathered, every part of me became thicker and more embodied. What was ghost-like became warrior-like. What was dormant became enlivened. The role of the artist, after all, is to awaken that which has fallen asleep. It was during this period of effervescent change that I drew the Archetypes deck you now hold in your hands. It was the year I faced the archetypal abyss and the archetypal ocean of dissolution. The mountain had led me all the way down to the bottom, to the shores of the ocean within the mountain. After sunrise surfs, I'd drive home and draw, collage and write. Most of the images you see here were formed much by the ocean as they were by me. In many ways, I do not feel like I made this deck, it made me. It put me back together, one salty droplet at a time. Driving along 101, I would hear the descriptions of the cards come forward, and I would pull off the road to scribble notes or text myself mythic tidbits. While lying in Savasana, I watched the cards appear, then did my best to create them in the studio. A pendulum chose the cards' names for me, and this deck wanted to become itself. I did my very best to get out of the way, to let it pour forward to you. It is possible that archetypes have their own agendas, their own work to do on us, and with that in mind, I offer you my prayer. When an image calls to you, may you trust it. Within it, eventually, circuitously, wondrously, may you discover another deeper image. Call it the ocean within the mountain. If you find yourself within its waters, look for me. No doubt I will be there. With love, Kim Krans. That's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful words. I'm always just amazed by how people can do fantastic words as well as be as creative as being able to come up with these images. And this is a fantastic book, and I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in learning about the archetypes. Okay, so we're going to be doing a little bit of that book every day. How people use the cards and the archetypes. We're all individual, aren't we? And this is my little shuffling process. We've got a very pure elephant, we've got a healing elephant because he's green, and we've got a broken elephant because it's got a little scratch on its behind. Now these archetype cards, so this little pile here are the selves. So that's us. It's the role that we play, or the role that we take up, or is it the role that finds us? And before you know it, we're being an archetype. What do we think about that? Let me know. Let me know out there, the YouTubers, what you think about these archetypes, and whether or not we've got any power in our little world that we're living. Do we have a say in what goes on, or are we destined to say this, say that, take this action, go this way? Have you ever done that, little one, watching this? When you go outside and you walk about and you normally go left, have you ever tried the little test where instead of going left you go right? Have you ever tried that? It's really quite strange. Let me know if you've always walked around the block one way. Try it. Try to do something different. Break the mould. Change the archetype of what you do. Just attempt it. Try to break out of the mould and see if you can. I wonder if it is possible. Like, what can happen to a person? These are all the right way up. And there's this final type of card. So we're going to be learning about 12 cards today. That's a lot of cards. I think that might be too much in one reading. I think it might be. I think I might have overdone it, as usual. Green one, lilac one, and the white one, and these are the tools. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these cards up to see what they are, okay, and then we're just going to learn about, oh no, this one's got 2. This one's got loads and loads of archetype cards. This one's got 4. This one's got 4. Okay, now I know that these archetype cards are going to be consuming because of the talking about them. I'm going to give them an angel card. Just to remind ourselves that it's our higher self that's bringing us this information. But we're going to learn about 12 archetype cards. Let's see. We're going to remind ourselves that our angels want us to know this information. I thank our angels for being with us. And we're going to give ourselves a spirit animal. So while we're coping with all the information that comes out of the archetype cards, and because there are so many of them, I may not read all of them. I might just read the first one and take a picture from the others, and then we'll do those another day, because this is going to take some time otherwise, and it could be a very, very lengthy reading. Have I got time today to do it justice? I probably haven't. So thanks for watching, dear lovely seekers of the archetypes. That's what we are, aren't we? We're seekers of trying to figure out what it is we're doing here on the planet. Why are we here? What is our role? Do we have any power over it? Are we all fate driven? Is everything we do written down somewhere before we get here, and then we make the choices? I like to believe that we can change a lot of it. I do, because I believe that we have the power of free will. Sometimes it can feel like we have got no free will or no choice at all. Sometimes it can feel like, well, there's nothing we can do in this situation, right? If ever you're thinking or feeling like that, remember that you can always change how you're feeling about whatever it is that's going on. Okay, even if you feel like you cannot change the restricted choices that you've found yourself in for whatever reason. Sometimes we find ourselves in choices of other people's making, don't we? Do you know what I mean by that? Somebody else will set out their agenda and we'll just walk right into it, either because we haven't really given it a lot of thought, or because we've trusted people, and then we found ourselves in a place which we wouldn't choose to be in. That happens a lot for people, and they find themselves living an expected experience that can feel like an archetypal role, like, oh well, this is my lot, this is what I do in life, can I change it? And this is the thing that comes to my mind whenever I think about these archetypes, is can we change what's going on for us? Is it possible? I like to live in hope that we can, because as I was saying, if you can't change any of the circumstances on the outside, there's always something you can change on the inside. You can always change how you think about it, you can change how you feel about it, you can reframe the story, yeah, you can retell the story, and you can be telling yourself a different story, can't you? We all can. And if you're having trouble retelling your story, at reframing your story, let me know, because I can reframe stories. Okay, so let's have a little look, shall we, at one of these piles. Thanks ever so much for being here with me through the shuffling process. I'm going to choose the hardest pile first, because that's what I do. I'm going to choose the little broken elephant. Little broken amethyst elephant. How is this person broken? The ring. This is more complicated. The Anima Mundi. The Dead End. And the Eternal Child. Oh, the Eternal Child. Right, let's have a little look at these. The Ring. Take stock of the jewels you adorn yourself with. Watch out for rings you wear out of habit that can keep you connected to the old you. Okay, when I think of ring, I think of the circle of life. And these are circular, these discs, aren't they? It means connectedness, humility, sacred cycles. The ring is an image of connectedness. Rather than viewing life as linear, as a series of progressive achievements, the ring challenges us to sense the cyclical, infinite nature of our world and experiences. Beginnings and endings fall by the wayside as we practice seeing ourselves as part of the cosmic circularity of creation. For this reason, it's no surprise a ring is worn on the finger to represent eternal love that surpasses space, time, and worldly things. So much can be projected onto this archetypal image because it mimics the Earth's orbit around our great sun and the intimate bond between two lovers. It is the micro and macro united. This card calls us to deepen the connection within self, other, and the world at large. Meanwhile, there may be a literal ring waiting to adorn your finger. Okay, so I'm just going to read the basic meanings of these cards and then open the tarot cards onto them and see what happens. Right, so for place, you've got the dead end. Acceptance, humility, relief, and reverence for change. Reflect on dead ends in your past that led to unimaginable wonders. The moment you accept the ending, a feeling of grace will arise. Doors begin to open both inside you and the world. And this one is the very final one of the pack, the Anima Mundi, the soul of the world, all that is. That's interesting. The embrace of Anima Mundi is available anytime, anywhere, to anyone, day or night, rich or poor. It is a process of unveiling our resistance to its love, tending to the sacred details of life. Okay, and the eternal child. Who is being the eternal child? Is it you, a loved one, or is it somebody around you? The eternal child meaning joyful, playful, accepts all, magic. Again, we've got this story of acceptance. This archetype is so spirited that when its appetite for life isn't satiated, it seeks spirits and substance elsewhere. The eternal child struggles with addictions of all varieties. This is quite an interesting, complex set of cards, isn't it? The angels let me know of its presence by ensuring I never feel alone, even in the darkness. Okay, so is there an element of being alone here for this person? The humpback whale, singer. Sing healing songs for the world. Your inner navigation always guides you. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. Align with your purpose and the power in your soul. Okay. And then wholeness again. We've got this perfect picture of feeling whole. The dead end because you come to the end of a cycle. Recognising the cycles of life. And know that they affect everyone, no matter who they are or where they are in their life. Everyone has challenges, and we have to try and accept those challenges. The Empress, and you've got harmony. And there we are with harmony again with these sea creatures, the dolphins and the humpback whale. Try and bring harmony to your inner. And again, did I not shuffle these? I don't think I did. I had those the other day. I can't have shuffled those cards, can I, properly? Because that's exactly the same card that came out. Existence. You're happy, and when you accept everything that's happening in your life, it helps you to reach for happiness. Look at this one. The Fool is starting out for something new. And these beautiful green colours that match, that will blend together. And yet we've still got the swords. So we've still got some ag and argy-bargy and arguing. And this is the source of unhappiness, the angst and the arguing. So if you can just let this go and start focusing on your role in the world and who you are being in the world, what does the world feel when it feels you? These two are both in yellow dresses. This to me suggests that there's room for more positivity in who you're being and how you're being. And if you can lighten up and liven up, you will enjoy the experience more. So reaching towards more enjoyment of your life and what's happening for you, and recognise that When you do come to an end of a cycle, a new cycle begins, because the universe really dislikes a vacuum. So if there's something that's ending and closing, something else will open up. It's nature's way, it's how the world works, and you're in it. You've got to be in it to win it. Thanks for watching. Let me know if any of that resonates with you. Bye for now. Hello, little person who looks at the green elephant and think, yeah, that's me. I've got some interesting cards with these archetypes, okay? And Eros. There's 4 of them, so they're heavy. It's a lot. I'm only going to read the main meanings to the very first card that comes up for you. Agape. The vow is a promise. The fault line. And the mother. Whoa, that's a very powerful archetype card to have pulled out. The mother. Let's check the angel card. I know I'm loved because this angel ensures my loved ones in spirit watch over me. Okay. And also the giraffe. The giraffe. Visionary. Rise above earthly matters. Glide through life with grace. You are able to see the right path. Stand tall in your self-worth and love with a big heart. Love with the heart of the elephant. And now we've got befuddled, where you're confused about what you should be doing. But look at the green edging of the card. Perfectly matches the green of the elephant, doesn't it? You're unclear as to what you should be doing and where you should be running to and where you should be making a commitment. Oh, the tower and the fault line. Notice the big change. You know, the sudden change out of nowhere that you've got no control over. 10 of Wands, feeling like you're carrying all the burdens by yourself. But the Magician reminds you that you've got skills and you can change things if you want. Oh, laziness. That's your downfall right there. Laziness. Are you being lazy, dear lovely person? Right, let's have a look at the archetypes that you've pulled up. That's why we're here. Now, the one that I'm going to read is Eros, and I will do another day because that is your main card for this reading. 209. And they're called the initiations. These cards. Eros can be depicted as unbridled sexuality and eroticism. A more contemplative understanding of this archetypal energy leads us to the root of desire itself. Plato reminds us that Eros can be experienced as platonic love. It is activated when we witness beauty and truth in the world and when our barriers soften. It means passion, playfulness, and sexual health. What do we long for? Why are we awakened by love? What makes us hesitate in the face of intimacy? Eros reconnects us with the primal longing to merge with another human being. Nature, music, art, plants, food, or anything that we perceive we are separate from. Eros allows us to momentarily unite. Our heart embraces otherness, and in doing so we further understand our own. Our life force awakens, and this card reveals an inevitable initiation into love's labyrinth. You may find yourself swirling in a new territory of desire and sensuality. Explore the labyrinth with a curious and honest heart, and remember, though the way is circuitous, you are always being led towards its centre. Okay, so you may have all these confusing elements around you at the moment, but if you can rise above it and see it from a spiritual point of view, you will start having a different life experience that brings you more joy in your world. Oh, it's lovely. And the meanings of these other cards I will read another day because I've opened 4 for each card. The Great Mother, the Feminine, the Source. The Mother is part of the trifecta Maiden, Mother, Crone. Because of the relationship between them, take special note when these cards appear in one reading. Okay. This card means glowing, generative, creative, nurturing. Notice how the mother archetype is expressed in nature. This is perhaps the most balanced and benevolent form of the mother's grace. Okay, and then we also have the vow, the promise, the oath, the contract, bearing witness to the shift towards destiny. Anytime the energy of the vow is present, we are in the archetypal realm of ceremony and ritual. That means time stands still and anything is possible. That's interesting, isn't it? When the vow is spoken, the air shifts. And then that's with the fault line, the fissure, the crack, the weak link. It is possible that something a loved one said caused a crack in your relationship that has never been mended. Revisit it, the time to heal is nigh. Redefining reality, breaking open. Imagine walking across a frozen lake that begins to crack before your eyes. No matter how optimistic and brave you might be, panic ensues and you become fearful and tense and long for stable ground. Such is the energy of the fault line. It's the energy of walking on eggshells, of precarious dynamics, the ground changing beneath your feet. But you've got two of these cards, so I'm going to have a look at the agape. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, so my apologies. Agape, devotion, unconditional love, service, reverence, honour, joy. Agape can also be felt as an overwhelming love of family, partner, community. Recognise it by a deep swell of gratitude. What if instead of putting yourself at the centre of your spiritual practice, you put God, Goddess or nature at the centre? How would this change your approach? This is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, and our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks us for nothing in return. Okay, well, dear loved one, it feels like they're carrying everything on their own. It amazes me when I was reading the beginning of the Archetypes book, how this person, having had 3 children, lost a child, ended a marriage, closed down a business, decided to do something every day and had the discipline to be able to do things every day to make that book happen. It's incredible, isn't it? And laziness is a downfall. It's definitely a trap that humans fall into. So if you're out there wondering how you're going to complete your goal, check yourself and say, how many hours do you do it a week? Do you do it every day? Is this something you can bring in as a new routine to help you to complete your goals? Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hi, dear lovely person who's chosen the white elephant. Now I have to admit I've overdone it with these cards, with these beautiful archetype cards, because they deserve more justice than I'm doing to them. So all I'm doing is reading out the meaning from the book as we learn them. And really I've bitten off more than I can chew trying to do 4 of them. Okay, 4 of them in one reading is too many. So I'm just reading out the main reading for the little ones and then the full reading for whichever one I feel is central to the story that's being told. The empty room, the comic, the gem. Okay, this angel invokes powerful positivity for the future within me, and I know my new year will be the best yet. Okay, well, new year for everyone is after their birthday, isn't it? Is it your birthday soon? Oh look, you've got the elephant. Love is your strength. Leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. Look at that, the little elephant on the elephant. Isn't that great? I love that. It matches up perfectly. Forest essence. Okay, a lot of greenery, and have you noticed all the colours in the comic, all the colours in the gem, and all the colours in the forest essence? 3 of Cups is beautiful. 3 of Cups is really feeling joyful and getting what your heart desires. Oh my goodness. The sun, look at that. The sun. You couldn't ask for a better card for a positive outcome for a reading. Your future's bright and sunny. Queen of Cups. Look at all these women characters you've got in your reading. All these females. So the Ten of Swords. So what's holding you back is your negative thinking. But your consciousness is heightening. So you are becoming more aware of what is happening around you. And that is your path, just to keep going. You will find success, but you have to be aware and become more aware of when you're thinking negatively so you can let those go. Right, let's have a look at this gem. I've got a feeling this is... There are infinite names for the gem. It is also known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can't find it when you are among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly deep in the earth amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires a descent beneath the surface where there is no definitive map. Yet the longing to touch the true gem within us is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. And it means unique, shining, generative, irreplaceable. There is only one you. The moments of your life that glimmer are clues to where the gem resides. Don't covet the sparkling diamond of another. The gem is like a fingerprint, never to be repeated again. Find yours. Okay, so it's looking within, isn't it? Looking within, looking at who you're being. You have got more to offer the universe and the world than you're aware of. So let's have a little look at these other archetypal cards that have come up in this reading, just quickly what they actually mean. The comic is a person. The comic, the joker, the clown, the fool. The comic carries a remedy for all that ails this world. Hilarious, ingenious, spirited, easygoing. The comic has plenty of shade to throw on others, and it can fall into shadow at the drop of a hat. Beware of their sharp claws. The empty room. Okay, I'm getting somebody who wants to be a stand-up comic here. That's the dread, isn't it? The empty room. The empty room haunts us all. The vortex, the abyss, the nothing. It is the universal and all too frequent feeling of lack, of wanting, of the craving to fill ourselves with something, anything, and we too often attempt to remedy the discomfort of the empty room by any means necessary, leading us to a culture of more. Ironically, the empty room is filled to the brim with potential, yet we perceive it as not enough. And this card is a cry for patience, for sitting within the barren walls of not knowing, for awaiting true vision and purpose before attaching to what we should do next to save our outward appearance. Be with the nothingness, be with the impatience. The empty room has immense power. Let others wonder what you are doing. If you can settle into the magic of emptiness, you will soon hear its whispers of wisdom. The meaning of the cards: spaciousness, potential, possibility. The archetype of the empty room is also portrayed as the hungry ghost, always feeding and never satiated. Okay, now this card, which is balancing the dark with the white, the dark and the light. Our soul recognises the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Altheia. Picasso said, "We all know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realise truth, at least the truth that is given us to understand." This card means clarity, revelation, disclosure. Ooh, little elephant, let me know if any of these things happen for you. Let me know if you have a deep inner revelation, or if you're in a period of waiting and you don't know what to do and that's what's causing the confusion. Let me know. Take care. Bye for now.